Yeah.
All right, we are live. Homesteadhow here with Shawn from Intentional Carnivore. This is exciting. Shawn, how are you doing? We were just talking a little bit offline, but it's been a while. I mean, we've
Yeah,
talked
man.
offline, but
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Busy day. We went to a family
Mhm.
reunion earlier. We rushed back. Three of us did to get the movie. I'm in the basement of the movie theater. Some people might be new here, but we're playing Indiana Jones above me. And then, oh, Shawn, I had the coolest thing happen. This dude came in with a shirt on that said meat eater.
Nice.
Right when he walked in the door, I was like, "Do you watch my YouTube channel?" And then I forgot. I talked to him like a week ago, and they drove in
Mhm.
from pretty far away just because they wanted to meet and uh, and they wanted to watch Indiana Jones. And I gave them a little history tour, which was fun. I love doing those. So I gave them a quick history tour, and then the crowd started coming in. So this last hour was hectic, but a lot of fun. Nothing for a carnivore, as I always say. My former self, I would be over there laying on the couch sleeping right now, but it definitely got more energy now. But
Man,
how are you doing, man? I was we were talking a little bit offline, but I'm like when we spoke last time, you were telling me how you spent so much time sadly on that couch, and now you're
mhm.
doing the exact opposite. You were depressed and sleeping on the couch, and now you're like the hardest working man I know. I've seen you on Dr. Baker. I'm watching you interview all these people. You're just killing it,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah, man. I got to slow down a little bit, man. I've been giving it a hard go. A lot of the stuff I had planned, a month ago, and I had a lot of invites out, a lot of emails out trying to get folks on, to schedule everything, and a lot of it just really came due all at once. Like everybody was like yes, and I was like, oh my goodness, nobody. I was like, okay, we're gonna do it.
Right?
So it's interesting, man. But it's fun, man. I have a great time doing it, talking with everybody, jumping in with everybody. It's fun, but at the same time, it's gonna have very quickly. I'm gonna have to take a break because it is getting
Right.
hot, man.
Take some time off. Yeah, it's weird because I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, you know what? I just realized on Carnivore, one of the coolest things is I no longer have any addictions whatsoever because
Mhm.
I never smoked. Alcohol was never a problem for me, but it was always food and sugar. And sugar was a huge addiction for me. Um,
Mhm.
and that's all gone. But then I was like, I kind of am addicted to carnivore now and talking about carnivore. The whole thing is getting these comments, which I'm sure you're getting a lot of too, man. You can't stop when you get comments from people and they're like, "Hey,
Mhm.
Kerry, I watched your 30-day update video, and now I've done it. I've been going for a month now, and my arthritis is gone. I'm sleeping better." You get stuff like that. Every
Mhm.
single time I get it, it's just like an energy boost. It's like I got to do another video. I got to keep doing this. I don't think there's
Well,
anything more rewarding in life than being able to help someone, or even if it's just a small part of helping someone turn things around. It's sure
mhm.
is a great thing to be able to do.
Well, absolutely. Well, and a lot of the folks, whenever they comment, I'll stay up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and answering replies, man, because I put I tell everybody to share their stories, and I always like to try to get back to those. But at the same time, man, it was easier whenever it was like 2 or 300, but like now that it's a little bit bigger, it's harder to do that. It's not that they're any less valuable, obviously. I know you got a hard time, man. There's no way you could get 100 almost 120,000 I think subs that you're at now, and so
Yeah.
it's hard, man. It is hard, but you know
You want to
if I
know what you want to know one of my tricks, Shawn? Here's one of my tricks for when all those comments come in, because I
mm,
try to answer all the comments. I read all of them.
mhm,
But you'll get those nasty ones every now and then, and we're here to be
mhm,
positive, right? But when you get them,
100%.
I used to get tangled in those sometimes where I'm like, oh man, that one I gotta
Mhm,
answer. And then I'd be sitting here like, what I do now, I can't remember if I told you this. I was telling someone else. What I do now is when I get something like it's usually like an essay about how I'm a horrible person for eating meat or something. And I've got a valid response, but it's just not worth it anymore. So I just write the letter K. And then I put it in, sometimes it comes out in capital letters. I'll
mhm.
put it a lowercase k and I'll hit enter and I'll move on. And that's all I do. Oh man, I'm not really doing it. It's just like it's a good workaround. But the people
Mhm.
on the other side, they do not like that. They don't
Yeah.
like that K. But I don't really care if they're being negative. I don't have any time for it, so I'll just throw that K up there and move
Yeah,
on to the
that's true.
next one.
Man, people gonna be nasty. You can't please everybody. Everybody's gonna find something to complain about. Larry and Cassie had somebody making videos about them, and like, so I've had a couple of that. Not a whole lot. There's been a few, but at the same time, man, yeah, there's too many real people out there hurting. Too many people out there who need to have answers. Too many people out there looking for real life answers and issues to problems that they really have, to get caught up with people who get stuck on one thing or disagree with one thing or whatever. So, it is what it is. Everybody can do what they want to do. We're here to help. We're here to support. We do everything we can, man, to try to help people. But at the end of the day, man, I agree with you 100%. That K and move on.
Right.
Best policy.
And for every one of those little Ks, there's it's probably like 30 to 1, positive comments or people saying this is inspiring. You got to do more of this. Thank you. Stuff like that. So yeah, the carnivore community has been overwhelmingly awesome. It's just when those other folks come in. Speaking of bad comments, someone just said here, oh, Kerry's bald. Some good hair up here. This is the first time I haven't had a hat on. I got my hair cut. So now I'm going to not wear a hat for probably 2 days, and then I'll be back to wearing the hat again. But gotta get my money's worth on that haircut for a couple of days.
It's just because he's been on carnivore 100 days now. 100
over 100. Yeah, let me look. I think it was. I'm starting to forget. I used to just be able to rattle that off. I got this little app on my phone now because I'm having trouble keeping track because I'm doing carnivore and I've been doing lion now. 110 days carnivore, and today's my 22nd day lion diet. Beef, nice. Salt, and water only. I'm loving the lion diet.
Really?
I got to be careful because everyone's different, and I'm not saying everybody should do it and everyone will love it. Some people try it and they just do better with eggs and some other things. But for me, I don't know, my genetics or whatever it is, I'm eating one meal a day too. That's the other thing I like. When I was doing carnivore, I would usually do 2 meals and then 1 meal, 2 meals, 1 meal. I eat like a pound and a half of steak, and that's it. 24 hours go by, and it's so nice. Yeah. And
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. The last thing I was going to say was I've been waking up earlier, and the sleep has been even better, which is just insane. Because when I started carnivore, I did my 30-day update. That was the biggest improvement for me. But you got to realize where it's coming from, having practically insomnia before and no sleep. So when I started carnivore, the sleep was amazing, but it's even better now. I woke up 4:30 this morning. I woke up. Yeah. When I was on carnivore, I was getting up at 5:30, which was insane. When I was pre-carnivore, I couldn't get out of bed. I'd be sleeping much later. So yeah, I've got a little bit more energy on the lion version, but I've been loving it for sure.
Yeah, I tried it, man. I've tried it twice now. The first time, I know what my issue was. I wasn't getting enough fat. I was cooking the fat out of everything. I was doing stuff on the Weber grill, and it was just like hamburger, ground chuck or whatever, ground beef. And it was cooking the fat out of everything. And I wasn't eating steak only at that time. Right. And then the second time, man, I just absolutely could not, for the life of me, stay focused on just beef and salt. And I even kept butter because I was like, last time you got me with the no fat. I was cooking the fat. I'm going to keep fat in this time. So I did steak and butter and water, and that was it. And dude, I made it like 11 days, 12 days, and I just kept seeing those eggs, and I'm like, man, I gotta have some. I think I told my wife, I said, I think it's just the 0.6 carbs that's in the eggs that keeps drawing me back to it.
Right, just that little bit. That's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny when you say that. It's like I don't think you could have done anything better, Shawn. With 245 pounds in 1 year, you're fine. That's the thing too. Is like people are like, well, why are you doing it? I'm like, some people do lion diet because they need to for autoimmune issues or whatever. I don't know. I just did it because I was on day 90 and I was stalling a little bit. Like my weight loss was coming down, and I have this goal I've been trying to get to. If I lose 13 more pounds, I will be 100 pounds lighter than I was at my very heaviest. I didn't lose 100 pounds on carnivore. I lost about 40 on and off keto for years before that. But the rest of it, the hardest pounds I've lost on carnivore and now lion diet. So I've been trying to get that last 13 pounds, but it's hard because I'm exercising too. So I'm gonna gain a little bit of muscle, that weighs some, and then try to lose some weight. It kind of evens out. But it's funny. That's a good transition into what we were going to kind of talk about. I guess we could free flow here and do an open Q&A, but I was trying to have kind of a theme to this on how to succeed at carnivore. And you just mentioned one of them, Shawn. That was one thing I had written down here. I don't have that many notes, but one of the biggest things for me succeeding on carnivore, and obviously, Shawn, you've succeeded way more than I have for much longer, so you probably got more than I do, but that was one of the biggest things, was getting enough fat. I think so many people start carnivore and they don't get enough fat, or they do at the beginning and then it teeters out, because it's just like you were saying, it's really hard to do unless you're eating ribeyes all the time. So when I first started carnivore, I'd have ribeye, or if I ever had anything that wasn't super fatty like a ribeye, I would almost always do, it sounds like you were doing this too, Shawn, I'd take butter and I'd melt it and I'd dip the steak in the butter and I'd get my fat up that way. Also ate a lot of egg yolks, and that was in the beginning. I like, if I knew now what to do, it'd be a lot easier, because another thing I do now is I'll get big chunky pieces of fat, throw them on the cast iron skillet, crisp them up with some salt. That is delicious. A lot of people don't like the fat when you get that rubbery fat. It's not cooked all the way. I get that. That texture is weird and gross, but you fry that up in an air fryer or on a cast iron skillet. That's been one thing I think that's helped me be successful, because if you don't get enough fat, it's really hard doing carnivore. You can start getting weak and fatigued and stall out and have all sorts of issues. You have issues with bowel movements and things like that. So definitely got to get enough fat.
Oh yeah. And my wife ran into a lot of that. My wife, she could not stand to watch me even eat that fat off, like the ribeyes, that rubbery like end on it, until she went carnivore. And then after going carnivore, now she eats it. She used to couldn't even watch me eat it. And so, it's pretty interesting how different and how much your taste changes and your desires, your body signals and whatnot change the longer you're on it. That definitely makes a huge difference. Right. I mean, even, so there, yeah, that's about all for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like the signal comes through clear on carnivore, because I know exactly how much fat I need to get now, and salt too is another one. I'm like, no, I need more salt. Like my brain is just telling me, like, put more salt on that, put more salt, next bite, more salt. So yeah, it's like when you're on carnivore, you're much more attuned to those things, it seems like. So your wife's doing carnivore. That's awesome. How long has that been?
So let me think now. I think 3 months.
Wow.
Right at 3 months now. Yeah. And I mean, she's doing well. And she didn't have a lot of weight to lose. She was already small. She didn't have a lot of health problems, but she did have some, gastro issues that she wanted to try to relate and get. And she just saw my journey and heard me talking incessantly about carnivore. And so she decided, it's probably even diet. Let's give it a try. And she's done really well on it.
That's amazing. That's so nice when the family's on board. Like I got Emma going. So my wife, people always ask me about my wife. She was vegetarian with Emma the whole time, and she just has this aversion to meat. But however, she hasn't gone carnivore yet. She, for the first time in years, I mentioned this before, so some people might have heard this, but she had some chicken and turkey. This was a couple of weeks back. And then last week, she had steak. She didn't eat the whole thing, but she tried some of my steak, which was like a huge thing for her. She was just like freaked out about eating steak, which is just so foreign to me. But so she's come along. She's trying to do, she did keto successfully about many years back. So she's trying to do keto, but she's still having salad and some vegetables and bringing more of the meat in. She had a burger today. So hopefully we can get her on board. But yeah, man, it's nice when the family's on board. It's funny what you said, how you're driving your wife nuts with she's probably like enough carnivore already. Man, it's the same thing in my house. They're like, dude, just shut up about it, or we get it already. Everybody. I say, it's like the dad joke or whatever, but my new thing now is carnivores don't. So for example, my wife's complaining that she gets sunburn. I'm like, carnivores don't get sunburn. Or my daughter's like, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm like, carnivores don't nap. That's just like everything is carnivores don't. It's pretty funny. I think it's hilarious. It's like a weird tangent, but I've used that one all the time, and they're like, shut up already.
You will get me hooked saying that, because that's how I am too. About carnivores don't have that problem.
Right? Carnivores don't nap. What are you talking about napping for? Or I'm gonna go. One of them was, I'm gonna go get a salad. Carnivores don't eat salads. What are you talking about? It's crazy.
Well, I tell you, the whole salt thing too. I wanted to mention something about that, because a lot of people having issues like with the salt. Like if you're just going carnivore, you got to understand you're not getting the sodium like you were getting in the standard American diet or eating other ways. You're going to have cramps. You're going to have headaches. always try just a little pinch of salt in your hand. I've heard so many people that just didn't think about it being that. If you pour a little salt in your hand, take a pinch, and when you get a headache or something, try that first, because a lot of times I found that would help dramatically, like almost instantly it would help. So that's what I meant I was going to throw out there while you were talking about that.
Yeah.
So success, man, just one of the biggest things, man, I think that helped me was going straight into a community with other people who knew about it or knew the ketogenic way of eating and could explain what was going on, and having that accountability, that camaraderie, and a lot of answers that you just don't really think about until you go start eating this way. So community was huge, man, and I think that's one of the biggest steps for success.
Right. And so I know you, I wish I would have done this a long time ago, because you're absolutely right. I joined the Dr. Barry's group. Is that the main community you started with, other than YouTube stuff?
Well, no, I started. So I found Dr. Barry on YouTube, and then I went to Carnivore Quest community on Facebook, and I've been a part of that group ever since I went in there. I love it. There's a lot of great people. That it was probably 200 or 300 people in there at the time, and now it's over close to 5,000, I think, in there.
Wow.
But and it's the same folks, Larry and Cassie, who do the Carnivore Quest YouTube channel. They started that group for accountability, and the group is absolutely amazing. I've been a moderator since last May in there. Right after I joined, I was in there for a little while, and I was one of the first moderators, or the first moderator that they brought on. So we've been real close, and a lot of folks that are in there have seen my whole journey from even back then, in the group. So, and then I started a group, Carnivorous Community, on Facebook, to try to, it's not like a competition. It's not something that, like that, but it's just one more place where people can jump in there, find community, interact. And some of the same people are in Carnivore Quest that are in my group. So I think communities are huge, man.
Yeah, definitely. Communities, it's amazing too, because a lot of these communities and this information out there is free. That was one of the things that I think helped me be successful on Carnivore. Was I was so, when I heard about Carnivore, some people know this already. I saw Dante from Frigno Freedom story, and my jaw just dropped when I saw his transformation. But I was still like, man, this is impossible. This is insane. You can't just eat meat forever. So I was like, good for Dante, but man, I thought he's going to have a heart attack or something. And so I started doing the research, and I'm kind of, I don't know, obsessive compulsive, but I did a ton of research. I watched so many videos. That was something I think that's really helped me, because I think one of the biggest issues people have with starting carnivore is the fear, and rightfully so, because we've been told our whole life, meat's going to kill you. Cholesterol is going to clog your arteries. You got to eat your vegetables. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. All these signals that are basically telling us not to eat meat. But if you go out there and do your research, it's just free information out there. Man, some of those videos from Dr. Barry, I did so much research before I found some of those, but he's got a video like Carnivore 101 and 15 mistakes to avoid on carnivore. Those will save people so much trouble. It really scares me on my channel. It's so much great feedback, but every now and then I'll get people and they're like, I just watched your video. I'm going to go buy steak. I'm going to do this right now. And it's like, no, man, just go do your research. You got to get the water. You got to get plenty of fat. You got to get the electrolytes. There's some things you need to figure out before you start it. So that's something that helped me. I didn't start until I did a ton of research.
Well, and that's the thing, man. I see it. I've seen it in the group. I've seen it on the channel too. It's like, listen, I want to get something extremely clear and out of the way, because it becomes a bigger issue. Like, nobody is telling you to go do exactly what we're doing and that it's exactly going to work the same way. Listen, you don't have to eat steak and eggs every single day like I do. You don't have to eat 2 meals. You don't have to eat 1 meal, and it doesn't have to be lion diet like Kerry does. Like, we're not saying do exactly like I do in every way, shape, or form, and it's going to be the same results, the same thing every time. What we're saying is it's the proper human diet, and it can work this way. Here's what happened to us. it can work for you. Just get on it and watch the results take place. You know, because so many people will think that, you know, well, I've only lost 14 pounds. It's been, you know, 3 weeks. I'm like, well, good gracious, that's amazing. 14 pounds, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it doesn't happen the same way for every single person, but if you focus on the process will affect you. It's the proper human diet. It is going to work for you. Work on the process, and you know, that's keep the main thing the main thing. So
Exactly. Yeah. And everyone's different too.
oh
Because I'll,
yeah.
I'll get that question like, Kerry, you tell me exactly what you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'm like, why does that matter? To your point, exactly what I'm eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. First of all, I don't eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have one meal right now. But what I'm eating now, if you ask me that question 2 months from now, it might be completely different. Like
Oh
Shawn,
yeah.
when you started, you had a bunch of weight to lose. I still have weight to lose. So
Mhm.
I'm burning fat right now. Once I burn all that fat off, I'm going to have to eat more just to maintain. So what I'm eating is going to be completely different than what I eat now versus 2 months ago versus, you know, down the road from now. So yeah, it's different for everybody. Um, so Shawn, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You've lost 245 pounds, maybe more, because you're not weighing
Mhm.
yourself, which I think is
Yeah.
awesome. I've been listening to your podcast. You've been nailing these podcasts, man. It's
Mhm.
been so good. I was just watching your Shawn texted me earlier and he's like, "Do you have a minute?" And I was no joke. I was on my phone. We were going to the family reunion watching a video of Shawn. I'm like, "No, man, I don't have a minute. I'm watching a video right now." Leave me alone. That was hilarious. But that was a little bit older, not too old, but it was your Dr. Baker
Oh
video. That
yeah.
was a great video. You
Thank
got
you.
so much great content out there. But if you could go back in time to when you first started Carnivore,
Mm.
knowing what you know now, is there any advice you'd give yourself?
Mm. I would say be careful about who I listen to. Don't try when you find what works. Don't veer off just because somebody, some doctor somewhere, or some, you know, whoever says something different. If you find something that works, which is what I would tell myself, which, and I didn't do a lot of that, but the couple of times that I did slow down my weight loss, slow down a little bit, or I didn't feel as good, it was whenever I was trying things, even though what I was doing was working, if that makes any sense. That's one
Right.
of the things that I would tell myself. And number two, I would, you know, how I don't know. I would, I think that's probably the main thing that I would tell myself. You know, don't worry about counting, because there was a phase I went through. Well, I guess the other thing would be, don't get so dogmatic, because there was a point in my journey when I was extremely dogmatic about, you know, BBB and E is the only way, you have to do this, like this is the only thing that's going to work, and that's what I'm telling myself. But it started to branch out into like, well, you know, if you would get rid of this and just do BBB and E, then it would work. Whenever it's not really that way, and it didn't get bad, but I've seen it get bad. And I feel like we can be extremely supportive of the whole thing, carnivore, keto, ketogenic stuff, and just understanding that different people's bodies are affected at different levels, and you really do have to just look and find where your sweet spot is. It may not be where you want it to be. You might want to be at low carb, way out here, and have 50, you know, carbs a day. However, your body might be at BBB and E, and you have to do BB and E, or you just don't lose weight, or you don't get healing, or you don't fix whatever issue. So, you know, you got to find that sweet spot. That's one. That's the second thing I would probably tell myself.
Right. Did you ever, some of this I know because we talked before, but I don't remember all of it, but did routines, you had such incredible success. I know I've said it many times,
Mhm.
but it's crazy how much weight you lost in 1 year. I always use the movie reference. If we had you on the movie screen, people would be walking out asking me for their money back. So they're like, this is not possible.
Mhm.
243 pounds in 1 year. Did routines play into it? Like, because I find myself doing this a little bit. I guess you mentioned being dogmatic, but did you ever get into like a routine? I guess what I'm asking is, did you ever get into a routine where you're just like, you're eating the same thing every day, pretty much the same, and you just go on for weeks or months like that?
Mhm.
And did that help with your success?
Yeah, absolutely it did, and that was kind of the point, you know, for me. Like, I wanted to break my addiction to food, and I believe 100% to break your addiction to food, you don't have to care about variety. You don't have to care about what you're doing that revolves around food. Whenever this is an emotional statement. Well, I need variety. Well, variety is an emotional thing. You don't need variety. You need energy. That's why you eat food, to give your body fuel. I know it's not popular. I know a lot of people don't want to agree, and that's cool. You don't have to, but at the same time, like, you put that into your body so that your body gets the nutrients so that it can be optimal and perform effectively. You can do your daily functions and put off energy and function. And so anything outside of doing that, like, it becomes something that's got a different connection to the food. I'm not saying it's wrong to like your food. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I wanted to break that addiction and thinking that I always had to eat at 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock, at 5 o'clock. I had to have a snack. I had to, I couldn't eat the same thing more than once, in a week. I would not eat leftovers. My wife could come on here and tell you right now, I would never eat leftovers. I ate leftovers as a kid, all the time, and got sick of it. And I would not eat a leftover. I'm eating it one time, and tomorrow we're eating something different. At the same time, like I said, there was a lot of things that I wanted to try to break the thought process, and it absolutely worked. I give no more thought to what I'm eating than I do putting fuel in my car right now. I go have my steak, have my eggs, and then I'm on doing to whatever else I want to do.
It's such a powerful thing that just doesn't seem
Mhm.
that significant, but it's huge. I know I said it before, but that's when I realized that was happening in my carnivore journey. Again, the movie references, but I've said it many times where it's like, I'm the captain now, or in other words, I'm in complete control now, and the food's not in control before, because it was so much in control before. It's like you were saying,
Mhm.
everything. What are we going to eat for lunch? What are we going to eat for dinner? Where are we going to go? We're going to a birthday party. Got to bring the food, 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 food. And now I just never think about it. It's so much nicer
Mhm.
this way.
A
What?
100%.
Yeah, it's hard to describe that as a thing, but that's one of the things I love about carnivore, besides all the other things. But it's very freeing, and plus you just have so much more time now to not worry about
Mhm.
that. I eat one meal a day, and I got so much more time to get other stuff done.
Mhm.
One thing
Abs
that's helped me is this is kind of weird. I don't know if this is really carnivore related or what, but I don't know if I read this book a while back or something, but it was talking about stoicism. I did a YouTube video about it before, but I heard this piece of advice from somebody,
Mhm.
and this really helped me on carnivore for the last 100+ days or so, and it helped me on keto too. But it's basically talking about only focus on things that I have direct control of, and don't concern myself with anything else.
Mhm.
Politics, news, drama that's going on with friends and family or so and so or whatever. And I have done that very strictly on carnivore, and I think it's helped me out so much, because yeah, it's hard. Doing
Mhm.
carnivore can be hard. You're making a big, huge life change. And so, like, why am I so perfect that I have the energy to worry about what some politician's doing? Like, I'm going to ever be able
Mhm.
to affect anything they're doing? All of that energy, I could instead be focused on myself and make sure I'm eating properly and I'm exercising, getting a good nutrition and all that. So that's something that I think has really helped me a lot. Because I used to get wrapped up in all that stuff. It's hard
Mhm.
with social media and the news, and that's all trying to drive fear. And there's so much of it, like, oh, no, I need to worry about that, and I need to worry about this. I don't worry about anything anymore on carnivore. I'm just focused on myself, and can I be the best father, the best friend, the best movie theater runner, all that kind of stuff. Uh, that's something that's really helped me. But
Too, I try to stay focused on, on what my mission is. The two things that are important to me in life, I talk about them all the time. I try to be a better father, a better husband, a better person, a better follower of Christ. I've tried to do all those things, man. There's so much that I need to learn, so much I need to do better, so much I need to improve on, that I got a full-time job just taking care of me. And
right.
so that's something that I feel like, is it's important to me. So I I don't know, man. It's very freeing to not have to spend all that time taking time off to go fix food or go find food or go eat 10 times a day and all those different things. And absolutely, that's one thing. I just replaced, all those times that I would spend revolving around food doing other things to be more productive. And it's amazing.
I said it the other day. I was doing this project and I wasn't trying to brag, but I really think this is true. I was like, I am getting the work done as a carnivore of 3 herbivores. I guess that's a mean way of putting it, but I was saying of 3 of my former self before carnivore, legitimately, I'm getting 3x as amount of work done. I'm getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm working on YouTube, working on the movie theater, working on my other stuff we got going on the property. And this is great. The energy is just amazing. It's unbelievable.
There's no way I could have done what I'm doing now before I started eating this way. Like I couldn't focus enough. I couldn't think enough. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm a genius now by any means. I'm just saying the scheduling, the making sure everything's taken care of. It's a lot. It's a lot more than I even thought. And then also adding in my job too. So I'm working 40 hours a week, sitting at a computer doing my work job on top of the internet or the YouTube stuff. So it gets wild, and it's been a wild ride the last 3 weeks doing that and doing YouTube and trying to make everything fit. But there's no way possible. 3 years ago, I don't think I could have done one of the jobs that I'm doing now. I couldn't do my job effectively like I needed to be during that time. That's a fact.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? Something I've been realizing too is it's because of the energy that you and I are more productive. But I really also think it's because my mind is working more efficiently and making better decisions and managing things better and organizing things better. Like you're saying, scheduling things and calendar and all of that stuff. It's so much clearer and crisp and easier now, where I had to think about it so much before I forgot I got to do this today. And I forgot I got to do that, and the brain fog and everything. I think the brain function is a huge part of it, because I'm telling you that it was like your analogy you said before. You got your race car, or your brain is a race car too, and the fuel you put in it makes a huge difference. It's so much more efficient now when it's powered off of fat and ketones versus sugar. It just runs so much better.
Oh, absolutely. How do you respond? I got a question for you. How about this? How do you respond whenever you like something that used to infuriate you or set you off? How do you respond to those things now? Because I know it still happens, right? So have you noticed a big change in your response to things that used to just set you off?
Yeah, I am. It's this weird thing with carnivores. I've said it before, but there's like this carnivore zen. It's just so much more laid back. It's like I'll think about it a little bit. I'm like, whatever. Like, why am I going to get all worked up about something like that? It's just a lot more relaxed, and it's smarter too if you think about it. Like getting upset about these little things that you ask me about it a week later, I wouldn't even remember what I was so upset about, prior to carnivore. These little things like road rage or just someone irritating you about something. There's almost none of that anymore. Probably helps too, because I think a lot of that was made worse for me in the past by lack of sleep. People get grumpy when they're not sleeping all the time. You're walking around like a zombie. You got insomnia and you're depressed all the time. You're in a lot worse of a mood, and you're snappier at people and quicker to anger. So I think a lot of that's chilled out a lot more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
It's just like, so I've noticed that over time. Like I can handle the stress of situations that used to I would fly off the handle. And I don't get me wrong. Sometimes I can catch myself. Used to I couldn't even stop. Like I knew I was about to get mad, and I like right off the deep end, And now, even though I might get angry, I can stop that before it goes any further. Like it's almost like it gives you a whole new level of self-control.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do. And it's funny because you asked that example, because I would say for 99% of my time as a carnivore, it's been chill and zen. But actually, now that I think about it, if I'm being honest, I did get a little snappy earlier today with the family. And so here's what happened. I went to fill my water. This is water, by the way, if anyone's asking. It's a little ice water, but I fill my water up every morning. I do it. And every morning I've been working out. I go out at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I got this little workout routine. I've been doing it every day. I take my dog out with me. and my shirt was missing. I'm like, I know I put the shirt right here. So that was a little irritating. And then when I went to do my water, I got these little electrolyte drops I put in the water. I do it every single day. It's just like robotic. They're gone. And I had some like liver pills next to it and some magnesium next to it, and they're all gone. And this is like a reoccurring thing in my house. I think my wife's on here watching too, so maybe she can comment. I saw her earlier. I don't know. She might have just jumped on. She's still at the family reunion, but it's a reoccurring thing in my house where I'm like, I'll put something right here, and it was in nobody's way. It was on a windowsill off in the corner, and every time someone will move it. So it happened like for the third time today. I'm like, I just want to put my electrolyte drops in my water and go on with my day. So I kind of got snappy with the family. But it's almost like it's appropriate for a carnivore, because those are my carnivore things I need. My electrolytes, meat, water. That's like all I have. That's all I need. It's kind of like you're getting in between like a lion and a big chunk of meat on the ground. He's going to snap at you if you don't give him what he wants. You're hiding the meat from him.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Should we jump into some of these questions now? Got quite a few.
Yeah, somebody threw up a super chat. I want to recognize them.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get a start. I think it already went off, but it says, what is that? Showball? Yeah, there you go.
There we go. $10. Thanks, guys. On 2 weeks. Feel great. Awesome. Nice. Thank you so much. I always tell people, they're like, oh, I've only been doing it for like a week. I'm like, congratulations, because that's the hardest part for most people, is getting over the hump and starting it, getting over that fear. So, and then when you're in 2 weeks in, man, you're probably in ketosis. The cravings are going away. Congratulations.
Oh yeah. Before we get too deep into this, I wanted to bring up because I see Future Health Network. You talked with Mr. Maddox, and I wanted to say, that was amazing. I don't know who's watching today that got to see that interview and talk with him. That was one of the coolest things that I've done. I've talked with a lot of great people. It was amazing talking with him. I had a great time. I was looking forward to it. And I'm completely 100% convinced that like this movie and this documentary that's going on is going to be off the chain. Yeah, I am, dude. Yes. I just know it.
First of all, thank you so much for talking to Mr. Maddox. I was hoping to kind of be on there, and Shawn took the call, and we had the movie theater. I was here I was here with the girls, but we were shorthanded. But I watched that whole thing afterwards, and you just did a great job on that interview. And man, that guy is so impressive with his resume and everything that he's done. And speaking of the carnivore diet, so Shawn talked to him, and then someone commented, and they're like, "Did you talk to Kerry yet?" And then Shawn mentioned it, and then the next day he called me. And we talked, and he's interested in partnering and working together on the Carnivore Diet Documentary, which was just, I was a huge smile on my face. I was so excited. So I'm going to send him some stuff, and we're going to start talking about that some more. And speaking of the Carnivore Diet Documentary, right here, I'm not going to show you guys because I don't want to give it all away, but this is, man, I can't point my hand in the right direction. Right here, right here. That's the Carnivore Diet Documentary outline. I had Chad, the BBC film director, right here in the movie theater. Thank you, Chad, if you happen to be watching. He gave me some amazing advice. And I don't want to give too much away, but we rewrote the hook, the first part of the documentary. We've got outline. We got the different sections. All of the sections are up there that we want to cover on the documentary. And then for the last 2 or 3 days, I've been editing the Carnivore Diet movie documentary, just the first hook. And so I got to watch it, and I actually recorded this, and then maybe it'll be in the documentary, maybe it'll be on YouTube, but I recorded my daughter, Lily, watching the documentary. She's the one that had open heart surgery and 2 blood clots. And in retrospect, I think a lot of her health issues that she's had were due to improper medication. They were just throwing pills at her when it was nutrition problems. And so that's going to be a part of it that I want to talk about more. But I'll throw this on the bottom of the screen quick. Carnivore Diet movie. I know there's always a lot of new people. We're putting together a Carnivore Diet movie. It's a documentary. We want to follow real people for 1 year doing the carnivore diet, not just obese people. I really want to cover depression and anxiety. Of course, obesity, autoimmune disorders, reproductive issues, aging is a big one I want to cover. And you can register on the site if you want to participate. There's a GoFundMe if you want to donate. We're over $3,000 on the GoFundMe, which is just amazing. And like I've said before, I know I sound like a broken record, but I just want to make it clear. Every penny from GoFundMe, every penny if you do super chats on my channel, every penny if you buy our t-shirts goes to the Carnivore Diet Documentary. I'm volunteering my time, and I'm going to end up putting a bunch of my own money into it, and I'm happy to do it. But I just, whenever people ask for money online, I always cringe a little bit, and I'm not taking any of that money. It's all going towards the documentary. And to Shawn's point earlier, I'm so excited about it, especially now that we have this. I'm actually starting to film stuff and put it together and see it coming together. And I think it's gonna, the whole purpose of this was to help reach people that are hopeless. Like you said, Shawn, in our first interview, you were hopeless on your couch. I was hopeless with just clinical, horrible depression. And I was at the end, man. There was like nothing else for me. And there could have been something else. There could have been this. This would have been the solution to me. On carnivore diet, I have no depression. I have no anxiety. My life is a million times better. I wish I knew about this 20 years ago. And you're doing awesome on YouTube. So many people are doing awesome on YouTube. But I think it's just a small subset of the people we're able to reach on YouTube. Not everyone goes on YouTube. There's a lot more people on Netflix, Amazon Prime, these big streaming services. So we want to get the Carnivore Diet Documentary on one of those big services. And man, it's a huge battle to be able to do all of this, but all of the pieces are coming together. We got a documentary filmmaker. We got Mr. Maddox on board now too. I got Dr. Anthony Chafee. I had another call with him a couple days ago. That video is going to go live soon. Shawn, we did a video challenging Dr. Chafee where I tried to throw some curveballs at him, like some of the hardest carnivore questions I've come across. Of course, he just knocked most of them out of the park, but he also in that video, he texted me afterwards. He's like, "Oh, I got another idea for the documentary." He's pumped about the documentary. So it's gonna be great.
Chafee's awesome. He's been, I think 3 weeks now. He's been on the weekly show that we've been doing, man. And you're not gonna stump Chafee with too much. I mean, there might be something that you get him with. It had to be rare and off the wall. That guy's he's brilliant. But
right, yeah, I didn't want to do a spoiler alert for the video, but I wasn't able to stump the man. But it's still a really good video. I think I'm posting that one tomorrow. But man, some of the things he was talking about in there, he's so smart. And speaking of working hard like you have, Shawn, that man is like one of the hardest working people ever. Neurosurgeon resident, and then he's doing all this stuff on YouTube. And then on I think he was saying on the weekends or Saturday, he does the wellness and the nutrition and the carnivore stuff with people. He's helping people that way. YouTube videos left and right, live streams with you every week, and that guy is doing it.
Yeah,
that's the carnivore for you. He's doing the work of 5 men.
You're right. Yeah. It's amazing what you can get done, man. 100%.
Yep. All right. Should we hit some of these questions?
Yeah, we better, because we're getting deep into it now. And
let's see what we got here. What can you recommend other than walking? 57-year-old female with degenerative disc disease, peripheral neuropathy, slipped vertebrae, and leg cramps. Walking long distances is difficult. Ooh, that's a tough one. Do you want us to go on that one first, Shawn, or should I take a shot?
I would say non-weight bearing exercises. You know, what are those exercise bikes? Probably would be good if you could find a good one of those.
Low impact
stuff, like, you know, maybe even swimming. You know,
that was the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah, if you can get in a pool, that would be good.
There's nothing slack about swimming. I can tell you right now, that works out everything. But those two things are two that there was, whenever I had first started eating this way and wanted to burn off some energy, I was looking at stuff that was non-weight bearing, not out being active, because I couldn't be on my feet for long still at that time. And there are some things on YouTube where they show you how to do exercises sitting in the seats and stuff, to where you don't have to be out walking around weight bearing in those things. So maybe that's worth checking out. I appreciate you, Lynette. I appreciate it. She's awesome. She's always on here. She's always watching. She's always active and working in the community, man. And I appreciate her so much.
One other thing I was just thinking of real quick was I've been using these resistance bands. And those are great. I really like those because you can regulate it. Like if this is too much, you just pull a little bit or whatever, and you work so many different muscles that way versus a big weight where you got the up and the down. So maybe something like that. I like those too because they're inexpensive. And if you're ever traveling or whatever, I actually have some outside. So when I go do my morning workout, I got some out there by our little gazebo thing, and I just use them. All
Well,
right, let's see.
that's the thing. I got to get one of the longest friends I've ever had in my life since I was a kid stopped by yesterday, and we were talking about that very issue because I'm wanting to start working out and getting in the gym, and he has been,
Yeah,
and he's like, man, you can do about almost anything you want to do from you don't have to be in the gym, but like we're gonna do it together at the gym because his son and my son can work out together, and it
right.
gives us something to do as a family and a community, stuff like that. But you can use those bands, man. I've got a set of those. You can use those bands and get a great workout in.
Absolutely. Yeah. That other thing I've been doing, Shawn, I, I get up. I was just going to do this for 1 week because there's so many YouTube videos. There's like, I think it was Andrew Huberman was talking about getting sunlight in your eyes first thing. So I just started doing that. I would leave my curtains open. I'd still sleep, but I would let the sunlight hit my eyes before I looked at my phone or turn the lights on. It really, there's something to that. It really seems
Yeah.
to help. That's what I started doing. And then I progressed like, okay, now I'm going to go for a little walk in the morning. And I'm like, man, this is kind of cool out here in the morning. And it's like the birds are chirping and everything's good. And that's how I kind of started doing it. But I always tell people, because like I've been exercising a lot lately and they see it and then they're like, so you lost a bunch of weight from exercising? No, none of it. I didn't do any exercise to lose weight at all. I only exercised after I lost most of the weight and then I had more energy. Before that, I was just sick and fatigued. I never did anything. I really don't think you lose any weight exercising. Maybe a tiny little bit, but I think you lose 99% of your weight from nutrition. And then when you're healthy again, you can exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fun question. Cats are us. Kerry and Shawn, what did you eat today? What did you eat,
I
Shawn?
had eggs this morning, the same as always. I take that back. I did not have deviled eggs this morning with butter. My wife actually got up and made scrambled eggs for me this morning because I had an early interview with somebody in another country, and I had to get up early to get in on that for their channel because the time zone different change. So it was a little bit different, and I ate a little earlier than I normally eat, and then I had a fatty ribeye with 3 pats of butter and another half of a ribeye, and I am absolutely starving. And I can assure you, as soon as me and this young man right here get off this live show, I'm going to get something else to eat before I go to bed.
Nice. I had we were at a family reunion at my brother-in-law's house, and so I brought some food with. It was also his birthday recently, so I was trying to hook him up too. So I brought New York strips with. This was over the top. This isn't a normal meal for me, but you asked, I'm telling you the truth. I brought New York strips with and 2 ribeyes and some burger patties. And I grilled all that up. Not just all for me, obviously, but I had a ribeye and I had a half a New York strip. And then I had like a half a burger patty. But these were some big pieces of meat and it was delicious. And oh man, I was almost dying. Shawn said, bring back a plate. I did a live stream a while back where I was grilling up a ribeye. I just did it outside. It was kind of fun actually. But then I was like, I gotta go now, guys. I gotta eat this thing. But it was really good. The only thing that was unfortunate was his grill ran out of propane. I put all the burger patties on first to get the grills all set up. And I'm like, I'll do my steak afterwards because I really want to watch the steaks. Put all the burger patties on. The thing ran out of propane. I had to run into town, come back. I put it back on, and then it was like stuck on low. Anyways, I made these burgers, and it took like an hour and a half to make these burgers. I was just starving. I'm like, come on, because normally I eat at home at the same time every day, like right around noon, and I think I ate around 2:30 or something today.
Oh man, I just want to something that not to get off subject, but it kind of is. I was reading through the comments. I normally don't do this, but like Lynette says, Charles, I think there's a lot of people here who aren't aware of who you are and the influence you bring to the community. Can you describe yourself for others? Go watch like he has a resume that we could spend the rest of this show like listing. Man, that the guy. It's incredible. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but it's amazing. Go check him out, Charles Maddox. I just want to. But Martin Fleetwood had a question too. I don't know if you made it that far or if I'm behind you. I did.
Oh, let me see. I don't think
it said
saw
8:44.
Oh, okay.
About triathletes, I haven't honestly, but maybe you have. I don't know.
I saw that one. Sorry, I'm having trouble finding that one now. So he was asking about triathletes. 8:44. Oh, I'm way behind.
Oh, so have either of you heard any of any triathletes or endurance athletes that do carnivore? Would love to see those videos. I haven't. Have you have you heard of any of the athletes like that?
A little bit. So, well, one athlete you did an interview, Dr. Shawn Baker. I know he's like an Olympic
Oh
rower or
yeah,
something.
well,
He's got like a world record. And then I don't know the name, but I do know Dr. Anthony Chafee has, I think he's had two different people on. I think one was an Olympic
mhm.
wrestler. I think there was a football player he talked to at one time, but
Oh,
unfortunately, I don't know their names. But if you Google Dr. Chafee and like athlete, I bet you'll find something.
oh, I guarantee it.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on here, Shawn. My thing was stuck. I couldn't get down past 8 o'clock. I'm gonna
Yeah,
scroll through these here. Let's see.
there's been something going on with that chat. The other day, whenever I was doing the interview with Autumn Weathers from Autumn Does Keto, everybody knows Autumn, I think. She like my whole chat disappeared and I could not get it back up, like
Wow.
nowhere. And I was like, oh my goodness, like we're doing a Q&A and I'm trying to like get my phone out and find it and
Right.
keep up. And so it was crazy.
Here we go. How's the raising the funds coming for the Carnivore documentary? Have you been able to connect with Jordan Peterson yet? The funds are going well. I'm so thankful. Lots of GoFundMe funds are coming in. We're over $3,000 on GoFundMe, and then another $1,000 between super chats and T-shirt sales. So over $4,000 so far, which is absolutely amazing. It's still, frankly and honestly, a long way to go because filming a documentary is expensive, especially if you want to get it on Netflix. The thing with Netflix that's so frustrating is I've been doing video work for years, not just on YouTube. My wife and I have filmed over 600 commercials for businesses through our Amazon business. I just finished filming my 7th commercial for local businesses here that we do on the movie theater. I've got really good camera equipment. This is not good enough for Netflix. Netflix wants you to have like this $20,000 camera. And my camera shoots in just super high 4K resolution and everything, but it's not good enough. So it's the funding is going good. We still have a long way to go, but I am very confident because I'm seeing the funding increase, like it's rolling through, and I'm talking to some really interesting people. So I'm going to be talking to Dr. Barry soon, and I'm really hoping he wants to be on board and maybe be a larger part of the process, and that could be huge. He's got such a big following. So it's even if the funding stopped right now, no matter what happens, I'm putting this thing together. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm putting my own money and time into it and everything I can. But I don't think I think we're going to be just fine, and I'm really happy with where we're at so far. And I'm so thankful for everyone that's been donating to it. It really means a lot. People will donate, Shawn, and then they'll leave like a little story or a reason why. So it's
Oh
another
yeah.
thing, like the YouTube comments, but it's really inspirational. Oftentimes reading those things.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to talk to Jordan Peterson. I actually sent
Oh,
him he sent an email, or excuse me, I sent an email to him. I also tried to email Michaela Peterson. Both of them. I'd love to talk to either one of them.
we got to get that, make that happen. I would
Mhm.
love to, I missed that part of the question. I would love to have Dr. Jordan Peterson on the Carnivore
Mhm.
Diet movie. That would be in a perfect world. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to try everything we can. I haven't spoken to him. I did, however, interview Amanda from Carnivorous Me, and
Mhm.
she loves Dr. Jordan Peterson. She's been reading his books
Mhm.
for years. If she could have met anyone in the world, it would be him. And it turns out she went to a thing where it was like a backstage pass or something. And it was just a huge line of people, quick shaking thing. Long story short, she went up to him and he knew who she was. They were following each other on Twitter. He knew about her story. He knew everything. So she actually knows him. So when I talked to Amanda, because she's interested in being involved in the Carnivore Diet documentary, she's like, maybe
Mhm.
I could talk to her or get him in there or something. So we have a little bit of an in there potentially. Not putting too much pressure on Amanda, but that would be awesome. But if he could be, because on my board back here, we have different sections, and one of them is mental health. And each section, I want to have real people as examples, like we've talked about, but then I want to have a real
Mhm.
doctor for each one. So
Oh yeah.
maybe Dr. Barry's diabetes, and maybe Dr. Chafee is autoimmune orders. Well, who's going to be mental health? Dr. Jordan Peterson. That would be the
That'd be
best one
off
to
the
talk about.
chain, dude. That would be amazing. That
Yep.
would be awesome. Matter of fact, Amanda, she's had I've watched her since like her very first. Now, obviously, I haven't watched everything, but she's got an amazing story too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be talking with her actually next week. But
She's
she's
brilliant.
got a great story.
Yeah, she's brilliant too. If you talk to her, she's one of the smartest people. She was telling me like, because I'm gonna be getting my blood tested soon,
Mhm.
and she was giving me all the science and stuff on it, and she's very very smart. But yeah, her story's amazing too. And it was funny
Mhm.
when I interviewed her on my channel, she had just hit 1 year, so she's been. It's crazy how many people is the amount of success people are having in
Mhm.
1 year. On one hand, when you're starting right now and you're like, I'm gonna do carnivore for 1 year, that seems like forever. But when you're at the end of 1 year, it's like 1 year. That's pretty quick, actually, right?
Mhm. It's fast. It's fast.
All right, here we go. Kerry said you're eating a pound and a half of beef a day. Is that amount raw or after cooking? That is cooking it. I haven't done the raw meat yet. Shawn, have you eaten any raw meat ever?
Mm.
I haven't done
Mm.
that yet. I heard some people
Negative.
talk about it. I'm not judgy. I don't know. I've never done it. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, but
Mhm.
hey, I'm open to anything. I tried sardines over the last couple of weeks, which is the first
Ugh.
time in my entire life. Oh, we got another
Yeah.
super chat here. Let's see
You
what's
you can have the sardines and the raw meat, brother. I'll take the regular meat. Yeah, you can do what you want. If you like, don't get me wrong. If you like raw meat, by all means, eat your raw meat. You know, don't
right.
let me be the guy that's standing in your way. But I like mine. I like it raw in the middle,
Right.
almost.
Me too. Medium raw. I'm trying to get my dogs on the raw meat. I'm slowly
Mhm.
transitioning them over. Dr. Chafee was telling me about this study where golden retrievers, they did a study on golden retrievers. And when dogs ate strictly carnivore, which is what they were intended to do, they would live
Mhm.
10 years longer than they do now.
Oh
It's so
wow.
sad. I love dogs. We got two dogs, and my other dog I had for years was a golden retriever. So that one really hit close to home because we fed them all of that. I mean, we didn't know any better, but you fed them all that junk dog food, and they just want. And whenever my dog was used to beg me for food, sometimes you get irritated at him. Now I'm like, no, man, I get it, dude. You're a carnivore. You want meat. That's what you want.
Oh
That's what you
yeah.
should be getting. I've been watching some
100%.
videos on this. One lady was doing chicken thighs. She'd grind them up in a big grinder and feed them to her dogs, and man, these dogs are thriving just like carnivores are thriving. Man, huge super chat, $50. Thank you so
Oh.
much, David and Melinda Delgado. Kerry and Shawn, I'm Melinda, my husband, and I both are on the carnivore diet, and we are both thankful for your YouTube videos because it
Mhm.
really helps us learn more and helps us improve. I give all glory to Jesus for this life changing journey. Amen. Thank you. That
That's
is so
awesome.
nice.
Thank you
That-
so much for the super chat. Yeah, that's amazing. I do too. God brought me to this, and I'll be daggone. I am not backing up. I'm not backing off of it. I'm not apologizing for it. People can believe whatever they want to believe, but I got to give glory to God for it too, my friend. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's so generous. Again,
Absolutely.
every penny going to the Carnivore Diet Documentary. So you can know you're doing a great thing, but you're going to help reach people that are hopeless because that's the whole goal of this. It wouldn't be possible without all these
Absolutely.
donations. So there's going to be someone watching our Carnivore Diet Documentary that you're reaching because of that. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see where the next one is. Man, I'm so
And
far behind.
congratulations. Yeah, it's amazing doing it together, man. It helps
Yes.
so much. It's so nice. It's so nice having a spouse to do it with, well, I say it is, and that might be why I'm hungry because it comes dinner time, eating that third meal that I don't normally eat. The wife's in there cooking. Maybe that's what sets all my taste buds, and
Right.
and she eats all my steak, but I love her. I'm willing to sacrifice.
That is one benefit with my wife being a vegetarian for so many years. Anytime we go to the steakhouse, a lot less expensive just paying for for one person.
Maybe
But
I was
it
eating
is
her steak.
right. It is much nicer though when everyone's on board. So much easier.
Yeah,
All right, I got to find this
absolutely.
next question. There's so many nice comments in here. I'm going through all the
Oh
comments
yeah.
trying to find a question. If you have a question, please leave a big Q next to it.
Yeah, and hit the like button while you're out there because
Yeah, we got 305 on
that
here
really
now.
helps. Yeah, man, that helps, man. This community is the best, man. Overarching community is positive. They're here for each other. A lot of these folks, can answer to your questions, not just us, man. There's so much experience in this community, and I'm so glad to jump in and be able to talk and see you guys pretty regularly.
Tom V, when is Kerry going to join the Friday evening live stream with Dr. Chafee? I have been on the Friday stream before.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to. However, we switch off nights at the movie theater, and Friday is usually I'm not available. But
Mm-hmm.
man, you guys are killing it over there. You got enough people. But
Yeah.
if you ever need a fill in, I can maybe move things around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's welcome to come on the show and chat. You know, we had like he said, we had him on. I think it was just me, you, and Dave that night, wasn't it? Kip was only doing every other week. Then when Doctor Chafee started, Kip started doing every week. So,
Yep, yep,
you
yeah.
know,
I
it's
think that
pretty
was
cool.
the night
So,
Kip was off. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I had Kip on my channel like a week or two later. That was a lot of fun. I just texted
Hmm.
him the other day. I cooked a big tomahawk ribeye. I smoked it, and I said, I was joking with him. I was like, "Don't worry, Kip. I didn't throw it in the air fryer to finish the reverse sear on it." He
Yeah,
was like, "That was too beautiful of a piece of meat to disrespect it like that. Don't do that." I don't
yeah.
know if you saw part of that, Shawn. I was interviewing him, and I was like, because I keep doing this reverse sear. I smoke the steak
Hmm.
and I put it on a cast iron skillet. I said to Kip, I was like, "Would you ever just heat up your propane grill real hot and throw it on there?" And he was like, no, I don't use propane." It was so
Oh
funny.
man.
I was like, "Well, at least I didn't throw it in an air fryer." Jeez.
Or
Yeah,
a microwave.
he's a purist. Yeah, the microwave. He's a
Yeah.
purist for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. I was like, hey man, hopefully, I think around the September, him and his wife and daughter are going to try to come out, and
Oh, nice.
we're trying to plan a get together for a lot of the community. But
Get a meetup. I was saying that I want to do a
yeah, man.
meetup here. I was saying, wouldn't it be great? Like, it's so hard. Everyone's so far away. But if we could get Shawn
Mhm.
here, and then on the movie screen, we could do it. I was thinking. And then I'm like, this is perfect world. We have Carnivore Kip outside with the big smoker, smoking up a bunch of meat
Oh,
for us.
dude.
And then here's the big one on the screen, because we can't. Dr. Barry's a busy man, right? We can't get him in here, or Dr. Chafee. Live stream him in. We could live stream him in on the screen, so we could all sit in the theater and ask him questions on the big screen. That would be a fun MEAT up meetup.
Yes.
I gotta do one of those one time. This guy that I met today at the theater was one of the few carnivores I met in person. He was just awesome.
Yeah, man, I haven't there I have been contacted by a few right here in the upstate of South Carolina, but the only my buddy, the carnivore pastor, Stephen, he came up from he lives about 2.5 hours away. He drove up here. He's one of the first people that been to my house. And then Larry Berkless, they live about an hour from me. So I met up with them whenever we did that video last year. But other than that, man, I haven't met anybody from the channel or the group. Outside of that yet. So it's going to be
Right.
interesting. It might be Keto Palooza whenever I meet everybody. I don't know.
Sure.
We're trying to go to Keto Palooza and hang out with some of those folks and see everybody. And so it ought to be pretty interesting.
Right. Someone said we're not answering the questions. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the questions. Sorry about that. I'm literally I've been scrolling through here for 5 minutes. There's so many nice
I
comments. If you have
hadn't
a
seen
question,
any.
please leave a queue. And if you had a question we missed it, just throw it back in there again, because I'm not trying to skip the questions. I'm literally scrolling, and it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
comments, which I really appreciate. Lots of nice comments, but
I
I'm
don't.
around 8 o'clock now. I'm still scrolling, still scrolling.
I'm at 8:58 and I still don't see any cues or questions. So
Oh,
I
here's
mean,
one. Here's one. Ever ate spam and eggs? I have not.
oh,
Lots of eggs. I've never tried spam my entire life. Sardines was the weirdest thing I've ever eaten.
we were talking about that last night on the show with the spam, and like, yeah, I have had spam. I've had spam almost like you remember Forrest Gump and Bubba when they start naming shrimp and
Yep.
grits and
Yep.
shrimp and it. Yeah, so like I've had spam probably every kind of way you can have spam,
Really.
and yeah, growing up,
Barbecued,
man,
smoked.
yeah, like everything we had it. My grandma used to do the spam, but that stuff's not allowed in my house these days. I can't stomach it. It's like Vienna sausages before I was even carnivore, though. I just can't have it anymore. I ate it so much. I can't even look at
Right.
it.
Kenton says, "Are you going to answer questions?" I'm trying. I'm scrolling through here. Please throw a legitimate question down there, and we will answer it. Now I'm at 8:10 now, so I'm almost caught up. Let's see if we got any more. I don't think we missed any. I went through every one of them pretty slowly here. Anybody got a question, or if we missed it, just leave it with a Q on the side, and we will answer it.
Girl, I'm at like 9:18. I just skipped all the way to the end. And Girl Friday, is it okay to eat yogurt and question mark? Yogurt's not carnivore. I mean, it's technically, well, I mean, I guess it's dairy, right? Like, Depends on what it's got in it. If it's got a bunch of sugar and carbs and stuff in it, I probably wouldn't eat it. But I mean, if you do dairy or you know whatever, then I mean, have your yogurt. What's it gonna hurt? I mean,
Right.
if you have dairy and it doesn't affect where you're trying to get your goals and your progress, just be careful you don't get the yogurt that I used to eat was the little cream savers yogurt. So it was basically like a piece of candy with a little bit of dairy thrown in, you know, a little bit of yogurt, like that much yogurt in it. It was amazing, but there was nothing healthy about it. It was mostly sugar. So I wouldn't consume it with a bunch of sugar in it if that's you know that's what you're getting.
Right. Yep. Here we go. Found another one. How long have good sleepers been carnivore? I'm not sure what that means.
Since the very first sleeper. I bet you know. I don't know, man. Honestly, but I can tell you this: like at first, whenever I was first transitioning over to carnivore, you know, after I had already started eating this way, I went through about a week and a half time period where I absolutely was wide awake all night long, just laying there looking at the ceiling. And it was like I thought I was getting insomnia again, and I was like, this is horrible. And then after that, it's like the most pure, deep sleep I had experienced. I started dreaming again. That's
Mm-hmm.
how good the sleep was, and I hadn't dreamed in a long time.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up and remembering the dream, and it was pretty amazing. So yeah.
Likewise, I remember waking up and my legs felt so relaxed. And I don't remember, I was like, when I was a kid, I remember that feeling. Otherwise, I've never slept that deep before. Here's a question. What is the most out there meat you have tried in Australia? We get kangaroo steaks, very lean meat, and emu.
Mm.
I don't even know. I haven't really tried anything that weird. Sardines, bison. Otherwise, I haven't tried
Mm.
anything real exotic or weird. What about you, Shawn?
I haven't tried anything crazy. I mean, not since I've been carnivore. Now we had this thing at the church called we call it a beast feast once a year. It's like a get together, church wide get together, and all it is different wild game. And I've had alligator and bear and crawfish and shark, um, all kinds of things. And I never had anything that was bad. Everybody that brought the food, it knew how to cook it or something because it all tasted good to me.
Yep. Here's another question. 5 months now, 1 month, I think that's keto, 4 months carnivore. Appetite has increased and have stopped losing weight, down 51
Mhm.
pounds, but now I need to lose 20 to 40 more. Was once 315 pounds. Could it be skin? So I think Barb is stalling out a little bit.
It
Ah,
could be.
yeah. Yeah, I guess I was once 315. I know I've heard Dr. Barry talk about if you have a lot of excess skin, one of the other than
Mhm.
obviously getting surgery is you can, if you do intermittent fasting, you'll have
Mhm.
autophagy and that can help with the extra skin, but it does take a long time. So that
Mhm.
could be it. And if you're stalling too, it could just be the skin or something else. But I know one thing for sure is like when I've lost weight on carnivore, the first pounds that I lost were the easiest, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. When I was the fattest, that was the easiest. And then as you start losing more weight, it seems to get harder and harder for your body to give up the weight. So, I mean, that could be playing into it as well. Uh,
I didn't. I didn't have that big of an issue until I started sitting around and messing my sleep schedule up and staying up all hours of the night. You know, like I lost to the 1 year mark. I lost 243 pounds, and then the next month I lost 2 pounds. So I'm kind of I almost want to go away right now just because I'm like, well, what's going on? Because I have been sitting a lot and haven't been active like I was, and I've been eating the same things, and I'm hungrier all the time. But at the same time, like you know, so many things can cause a stall. A stall is literally 3 months, 90 full days of not 1 pound lost. Um, you know, a stall, you know, your body could be healing from something, your sleep could be messed up, your hormones could be messed up, something could have triggered it, something could be affecting your body that you're consuming now that only started affecting it once your body got cleaned out from something from before. It could be so many different things, and maybe it's just time. I always throw that in there. So, but yeah, skin. I mean, I've got a lot. I've got loose skin. I don't think I'm going to get all the way to my goal weight just because of the loose skin that I have. So, extended fasting will help with that too. The autophage will help with that too. So, what can be unless we have surgery. So,
Yep. Here's another one. Have you heard of any good stories of individuals overcoming addictions with carnivore? Well, there's Dave, right?
yeah,
On the live stream,
Dave.
he stopped alcohol and food at the same time, and carbs and sugar. I'm
Mhm.
not aware of anyone else. I don't. Are you, Shawn?
I don't know a lot of stories about that, but I mean, honestly, an addiction is an addiction is an addiction. Addiction to sugar is no different than an addiction to cigarettes, addiction to pills, addiction to alcohol. They're all addictions. They're all real, and they're all extremely hard to overcome and beat mental. With your mind, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of and just time and routine and replacing. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I haven't heard of very many, but Dave's got an amazing story about getting sober and everything, um, and sugar as well. There's people getting off sugar all the time and finding that healing. So, um,
Here's another one. Yeah, just a cue before your sentence. It's all you got to do, and we'll see the cue, and then we'll try to answer your question. Let's see. Here's another one. Do you
mhm.
guys take any vitamins or electrolytes? What about you, Shawn?
Yeah, so I've used the Keto Chow Daily Minerals or the Keto Chow Electrolyte drops. I actually tried the Element T because Lynette sent some I thought I seen something. I thought I saw something crawling on my drink. I was like, my goodness, it's that black top. But yeah, so when I sent some LMNT to my wife, and my wife let me try some of it, the non-flavored kind, because I don't do anything that's sugar and sweets. But yeah, I love that stuff. I don't take any vitamins. I need to take vitamin D because my vitamin D levels were low. But other than that, I don't take anything.
Yeah, I'm the same. I do the keto chow drops. And then I take a magnesium pill before bed. Dr. Berry had a really good video about that.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Man, this guy's really mad at me. R. Kenton, I'm going to post this one up here. I love both these guys, but they should have just phoned each other. No interaction with us in our questions. Sorry, R. Kenton. That was my
Oh,
idea. Maybe I won't do that in the future. Can you guys leave some comments? I was just thinking it'd be fun to do like a little mini video and talk about how we've been successful on carnivore and then jump into the questions. I get bored sometimes with all of the questions. It seems like some of them are kind of repetitive. So I figured we'd do a little bit of that in this, but could you guys
wow.
leave a comment below? Because I would love to know what the majority think. Is it just the Q&A is fun, or do you like to switch it up? Just hear a little bit of chat between two people who've been doing carnivore for a while, giving some advice. I'm happy to do either. I just thought it'd be fun to change it up a little bit instead of just doing like 2 hours on questions and answers. And if you like, this was this guy's third comment. If you actually have a question, just post it. I'd be happy to answer it. I haven't seen an actual question other than
I haven't either.
complaints. R.
I
Kenton,
promise.
sorry. Let's see.
Oh me. It's
Here we
been a
go. Here we
day.
go.
It's been a
Is it
day,
okay
bro.
to eat blackberries with yogurt?
Oh yeah. So I mean, it depends on where your body's at.
Depends
Still,
on what
same
okay
thing.
means. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, if the fructose and stuff in berries and sugar, I don't eat it personally. I don't want anything that's going to affect my mind or physically cause me to crave sweets more. And anytime you put those things in it that's going to tempt you, it can do that. So, but I mean, if that's your thing and like that's going to keep you on your way of eating, that's sustainable in your body. If you can get to your goals by eating your blackberries and yogurt, then eat your blackberries and yogurt. If you've got type 2 diabetes and you're trying to reverse it, don't eat the blackberries and yogurt because it's definitely not going to help you get to where you're trying to go. So,
Yep.
um, it really does all depend on what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish out of it. I hate to be the guy to be like, God, you don't eat your blackberries and yogurt. I'm not trying to tell people what they can and can't eat, but it's definitely not carnivore, you know. So,
Right. Yeah, I'd say the
but
same. When I
if
was
it's
doing
wrong,
keto, that
figure
probably
stuff
would have been
out.
fine on keto. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm doing
Yeah.
carnivore, so I personally wouldn't do that on carnivore. And same as Shawn, if I eat a little bit of sugar in a blackberry, it's going to completely ruin it for me. So uh, let's see. Here we go, guys. I agree that meat, organs, fish, and eggs are the optimal nutrition for humans. But do you think there are any benefits for having small amounts of green vegetables for vitamin C, K, and fiber?
Mhm.
I used to, I don't anymore. I don't think there's any benefits whatsoever, especially after learning more from Dr. Anthony Chafee. And just
Mhm.
people will tell me this sometimes, you got to get fiber, you got to do this. Fiber is the biggest joke. I don't believe you need fiber at
Yeah.
all. And then the vitamins too. I really believe I'm getting everything I need from the meat. I mean, Shawn, you've been doing this for over a year
Mhm.
now. I've been going for 120 days or so. I feel amazing. And um, I don't think I need anything else. And the reason I know in particular for myself is because before I did carnivore, I did keto, and I pretty
Mhm.
much ate a salad for lunch, a salad for dinner, green vegetables, just like you're describing in dinner, and a little piece of chicken. And I felt horrible. I was depressed. I had arthritis. I had all sorts of issues. So, not for me, maybe for some people, I don't know. But I think if
Mhm.
Dr. Anthony Chafee was on here, he'd be like, nope. Next question.
Next question.
Not needed.
Yeah.
Here we go. Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life.
Hey.
Oh, thank you. Carrie, tell me about the movie again and what you were asking. You talked about it in the last live with Shawn. So Carnivore Diet movie is I'll just do it real quick as I mentioned it before. You can learn more here. If you go to carnivoredietmovie.com, it has all information, but we're putting together a carnivore diet movie. Shawn's involved, Dante from Frig No Freedom's involved, Dr. Anthony Chafee, but we want to follow real people for 1 year doing the carnivore diet. And if you're interested in donating, we have a GoFundMe. Every penny goes towards it. If you can't donate, I totally understand. If you still want to help, you could just share that website with people. That helps greatly. And yeah, there's a lot more info on the website there. Here we go. Question. Can we do another ladies live, maybe with Beth and all the wives, or even get Dr. Chafee's girlfriend to join? Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Absolutely. I actually had Courtney Luna and my wife and Cassie from Carnivore Quest on one day, and we did a show and a live show, and it was awesome, man. We had a great time. So yeah, it'd be cool. I don't know. I would have to ask Dr. Chafee, to get in touch with her, see if she'd be willing to do it. But I'd be all about it.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
Dr. Chafee did a video with his girlfriend a while back. It was pretty cool.
yeah.
John G always has the good questions. Do either of you guys eat lamb? I want to. I've seen it for sale before. And I thought I want to buy it. I've never cooked it or prepared it. I would love to eat it. I think I've eaten it at a restaurant once or twice and I liked it, but I've
Mhm.
never cooked it. And every time I'm like, I don't even know how to go about that, so I just kind of avoid it. But I. What about you, Shawn?
I've never had lamb in my life. Like I've never eaten it at all. So like I heard somebody I was talking with somebody, and I can't remember who now, but they were talking about how good lamb was and how tender it was. So I mean I want to try it because I will say this just because it triggered my memory. I bought a bag of shrimp this last week because I have not bought a bag of shrimp in forever. So I am having shrimp, but I want to try the lamb too.
Yep. Hey, Shawn, I want to be respectful of your time too. I know you got some food going. We're at hour 17 now. Do you want to do another question or two, or
Whatever you want to do, man. Like I said, I'll eat before I go to bed, but I still got a couple hours of stuff I got to get done before I can go to
okay,
bed.
let's
So
see. We got a
whatever's good.
couple more on here. I'm 3 months in and starting to feel good now, especially mentally. Still have some
Mhm.
arthritis pains. Are you completely pain free, or do you get the odd ache now and again? Me personally, I feel amazing. I really don't have any pain or odd. I've had nothing. I've been Everybody's different though, but and I had a lot before that. My arthritis was the worst in my foot, and then I'm so thankful that that is completely 100% gone now. What about you, Shawn?
Um, have aches and pains is whenever I go an extended period of time and don't have electrolytes and I've pushed it really hard. I've sweated a bit outside, really active, or I've been doing something that I don't normally do. Like I ran an obstacle course a couple months back. And I like basically what you would see the law enforcement officers run, where they're jumping over the fences and through the windows and those kinds of things. And my ankle got really sore, almost like I was getting. That's what I talk about like the only thing that mimicked like a gout flare up was in my ankle, because for some reason it was wet outside and my feet were sliding and I was running and jumping, and I landed funny, and I don't know if that's what it is, but other than that, like I don't usually have any weird aches or anything like that anymore.
Super chat. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah, another
thank you.
ladies' night. Yeah, that would be fun. Laura
Right.
Spath, Dr. Judy Cho, Kelly Hogan, Maria Emmerich. That would be amazing. What a lineup.
I talked to Marie Emery, like she commented on our video I did with Charles, and then I commented on one of her things, but I can't get a hold of Kelly Hogan or Laura Spath. I haven't even tried to get a hold of Dr. Judy yet, but there's just so many other people. But I have tried Kelly and Laura and haven't been able to get a hold of them yet, or maybe I'm not doing it in the right, sending the emails to the right place. So
Right.
maybe one day it would be awesome.
Yep. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Every penny. Carnivore Diet Documentary. Question: what have been some of your techniques or ways of dealing with social pressure of eating? Stay the course, you guys. You're a true inspiration, motivation. Thank you for that. Social pressure of eating. I guess maybe in the start there was more of an issue, but like today we went to a family reunion. There's a bunch of people there. I brought the meat, so maybe that made it easier. They were all happy to see me, even the non-carnivore. Obviously, they were eating all the junk food, but they were happy to have some big burgers and stuff that we brought with. It hasn't been that big of an issue for me. But Shawn, you've been doing this a lot longer than me. Have you had any? How do you deal with that?
He would ask, you would ask that question right after I came back from the first time I had cake. Like, so normally I eat before I go to these events and stuff like that. This past weekend, I was at my brother's house for my nephew's birthday, and we left from there and went to a 4th of July fireworks thing going off, and I had a piece of cake. And it was like a drug introducing it into my body. And I was like, my goodness, it's crazy. So I felt the social pressure this weekend, but the cake was something else. At the same time, man, like normally, like I said, I eat before I go. I get full. I don't worry about it. And I'm going to eat what I'm going to eat. If I could have said, obviously I could have said no if I didn't want the cake, but I ate the cake because I wanted to eat the cake. And, so, that's just how I normally deal with it. I eat before I go, get full, and say no.
Right. Oh, this Walkaza. I think you're my friend from Hawaii. You always leave great comments. Really appreciate it. Set up a beef feast by your movie theater for a worldwide carnivore gathering. That would be awesome.
That would be
That'd
awesome.
Be fun, man. Get the smoke. That's what I'm saying. There's a spot right outside. We could put the smoker. I could picture it in my head. Carnivore Kip there smoking stuff up. Get all the Shawn out there. Get everyone out there, man. That'd be a lot of fun.
Carnivore Kit was in the chat a while ago. See if we can get him out here and
I gotta
do some smoking and grilling.
How many times a day can you eat? Oh man, can you or should you or would you? I eat once a day. I can't eat much. I could eat a couple times a day, I guess. But I'm just doing one meal a day now. When I was doing carnivore, I'm doing lion now. I did twice a day, sometimes once. What about you, Shawn?
I don't know if I could eat very much more than what I do, because I eat and I'm not hungry when I get done eating. So I don't really force myself to eat when I'm not hungry, and I don't have a set time to eat. So, today is going to be it's going to end up being 3 times that I eat, but normally it's usually just at, around 10 and 2, around that. But that's my ballpark times for whenever I usually start getting hungry. And maybe that's the routine of it, but I don't know how many I could eat if I forced myself to eat. Not much, probably.
Right. Okay. Have you guys done blood work on carnivore and compared your testosterone levels on carnivore? I have not yet, but I plan to soon. What about you, Shawn?
Yeah, so I had to. That's the only medication I still take now is testosterone replacement. My testosterone before I started carnivore was 122, which is basically 100 points lower than the low. Like low is 220, high is 1,000, and mine was 122, and that was with gel replacement already. It was at 122. So my doctor started me on like these injections. I want to get the what is it, the pellet inserts. I had a referral in to get those, but never got a call from the facility. But I still do take the injections, and it went up. The last time I had it checked was right after I took a shot, so I think it was kind of a false high reading, but it was like 1400. So that's way higher than what it went from 122 before carnivore to like a year and a half later. It was at 1400 the last time, but I forgot and took the injection before I had my blood work done the next day, so it was going to be naturally crazy high. So
Right.
I don't know. I want to get an accurate reading on it to find
Yep.
out where it's really at all the time.
Oh, we got a bunch of people answering my question earlier where I was asking, do you want just the live Q&A? Because here's my thing. When I used to do more homesteading videos, we'd sometimes just do a live stream like, hey, we're building a chicken coop or something. In my experience, it wasn't always just questions and answers. But yeah, we got a couple people who are like, I like a little bit of both, love hanging out.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, it's going to be Q&A. But man, it just seems fun to switch it up a little bit every now and then. Seems like people like it either way. We'll see here.
Haters gonna hate sometimes, bro.
Yeah. They're like, just get on and answer my question and shut up and don't say anything else. All right. Okay. Geez.
I love this community though, man. Overwhelming. I mean, sometimes they'll send you a text message and try to ruin your day, but
Right.
overall they're good, man. I love them. I love interacting. I love chatting and hanging out. I like chatting and hanging out with you guys. That's what the Friday night thing usually is all about. Just community building it and getting guys together. And I love doing that, spreading out and doing that with you guys too. So
have you watched Frank Tufano or Joey Swartz? I think I've seen both of them. I think Frank, isn't he the one that has another documentary? I think that's him. I'm not sure. I not so much on Joey. I don't know. What about you, Shawn?
No, I never heard of Frank or her.
Here's a good one. Is it okay to drink a bottle of vodka every day? Yes, that's perfectly fine. Continue. Next question.
Stop it.
No, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
Have you seen Monty Python's skit Spam a Must? I haven't seen all the stuff I've seen. I haven't seen that, but I should. I will. I've been watching a ton of documentaries lately. The documentary producer that I was talking about, he gave me a list of some to watch, and man, there's some good ones he was telling me about. I was watching this one from the 1960s earlier. It was very interesting.
Which one is it, man? Just spill the beans. I need to know what you're looking at now.
This is kind of an obscure one. I don't know if everyone will like it, but it was called Salesman. It was from the 1960s. It's about these guys that were door-to-door salesmen, but the way they filmed it, and it was in the 1960s, was just really interesting. And there was some things in there that this guy was saying you should look closer at for your Carnivore Diet doc, and kind of how they filmed it. And they were kind of like a fly on the wall, listening in on people's conversations, like the conversation we were having earlier, kind of like that thing. It's pretty cool. That's it was awesome, interesting to me because Shawn, I'm going to start talking and people are going to get mad. So I should just
go back to the quote. We'll talk about it later, man. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say real quick. My first job was a door-to-door salesman, and guess what I sold? And then I'll shut up about it.
What's that?
Steaks.
No kidding.
That was my first job. I've come full circle. So that documentary is really interesting to me. It was about door-to-door salesman. I'm 2 months now on carnivore, lost 7 kg. Awesome. But I still have issues with my sugar. How can you get rid of sugar cravings? Stop. Ooh. Don't have any. That's my advice. Some people will start and they're like, oh, I'll just, like the person asked earlier, can I do some berries? If I just did berries, I would have sugar cravings. If I did yogurt that had any sugar in it, I would have sugar cravings. So I get rid of all of it 100%. I look at sugar like a hard drug. If I quit cocaine, I wouldn't do a little bit of cocaine here and there. I would completely quit it. That would be my answer. But I don't know, Shawn, what do you think?
Oh, 100%. I know for a fact, like the longer you go without putting sweet stuff in your mouth, the easier it's going to get. That's just, that's how it works. You're good. Like, and maybe you're different than me and maybe it doesn't work that way, but that's what I experienced. And the longer I went without it, I didn't crave it nearly as bad. So
here's an off topic. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I did, point out too that like the mind doesn't know the difference between artificial sweetener and sugar. So don't think that, while artificial sweetener may be better for you because you're not getting sugar, it's still not great for you. So if you're trying to stop that addiction, it's probably not a good alternative though.
Right.
But you got to do what you got to do.
What streaming software do you use? Off topic. StreamYard. Thank you. Shawn recommended that to me. This is a great thing. It's really user friendly.
Mhm.
Tam steak. Oh, Tam steak is another great commenter I see often.
Yeah.
When is Keto Palooza? Thanks for all your inspiration and sharing. Answering questions or just you guys chatting about carnivore is great. Thank you for that nice comment. I don't know, Shawn. I think you have the answer. Keto
Yeah,
Palooza.
so it's October the 6th through the 9th, and it is in I swear I wanna say Pennsylvania. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
So I don't know why I was thinking about Pennsylvania. I think I know why, but I'm not going to say why on the air. But yes, it's in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's October 6th through the 8th. That's a Friday through a Sunday. And if you want tickets, go to ketopalooza.com and you can get some there.
Cool. Another question. Have either of you tried extended fasting? I use 3 to 5 days to get over stalls and feel amazing. I did before I started carnivore. I did a 3-day water fast, a 5-day water fast. I felt really good then, almost like I started feeling on carnivore. I couldn't sustain it because I had to eat something, but I think that would be a great tactic. I stalled out on carnivore, and that's when I started lying. But that was the other option. If I wasn't to start lying, I probably would have just done like a couple-day fast. I think that's great advice. Did you have done any fasting, Shawn?
I did intermittent fasting. Obviously, I tracked it real close. I have done some like 30-hour fasting, but I haven't went longer than about 30 hours. I haven't done multiple day fasts. Like Larry and them were doing a challenge a couple months back, and he went like 14 days without eating. I'm like, bro,
Wow.
that ain't for me right there, dude.
Right.
That ain't for me. That's dedication that I don't have. I need some ribeyes and some
Right.
eggs.
Carnivore Kip. Hey everyone. Hey Carnivore Kip. We were talking about you a little earlier. Sorry I didn't see this sooner. I got to get those dino ribs, Carnivore Kip.
Mhm.
I've been looking for them. I can't find them anywhere. I gotta go to a better butcher shop or somewhere.
That's not. We don't have a lot of those cuts here in the upstate of South Carolina. A lot tri-tip. I hear people all over the place swear over tri-tip. I have never seen a tri-tip cut in my life. Like
Right.
I've never seen it sold in the store. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding, But
I've been dancing around going carnivore, but haven't taken the plunge yet. I'm hooked on kombucha. Do you think getting blood work done before I even start is a good idea or just go for it? I'm 64.
I'd
Hmm.
say I would say today can be your day that you change your life. That's what I would say. But at the same time, I'm don't take people's word for anything, man. Get it searched out. Start today, get your blood work done so that you can keep track of it over time. That's what I did because I was super skeptical. I didn't believe anything these people were saying. I thought they were nuts. So that's why I went and got my blood work done. But turns out everything was amazing and it happened exactly like they said and better than they said. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting your blood work done before you go. But if you've been dancing around it and you feel like that's a choice for you, there's no day like today.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. What kind of pricing do you guys get on beef? I've been noticing beef pricing in the box stores even going upwards of $11 to $13 a pound, not counting
Mhm.
ground beef. I'm very fortunate. My neighbors sell grass-fed beef at a really good price. Although I think they recently raised their price, but I was right around like $8 to $10 a pound. I was getting bone and ribeye, but I think they raised their price up a little bit since then. But this is grass-fed, local, really, really good stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. It seems like prices of everything are going up lately.
Mhm.
What are you doing, Shawn?
I think it's right around $11, 11 or $12 a pound for. Like I said, I'm just buying ribeyes. I go to the meat market not far. It's over in Powdersville, and it's Anderson's Meat Market in Powdersville, South Carolina, and that's where I've been getting my stuff. Some friends of mine run a farm. It used to be Satterfields out in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and I want to start going out there. I think it's called Salsa Farms. Satterfield retired and passed it on, and I want to go try some of the local farm stuff from out there. But yeah, it's about 12 $13 right in that neighborhood a pound.
All right. I'm only 8 days carnivore. I have MS. I hear carnivore is beneficial for autoimmune, feeling hopeless, but trying anyway. Good for you on starting. I've heard the same thing. One thing I would suggest, I think Dr. Chafee just a couple days ago had a video with someone that had MS and was doing carnivore. So that might be a good one to watch. I know lots of people have very good results with autoimmune issues on carnivore. So
good luck to you, my friend. I hope the best for you, and stay in the community, man. Let us know how it's going for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
Best.
Do you refuse the 4th of July rhubarb pie? Do you go ahead and eat a small portion? I don't. I would go nuts and I would go off the rails. So I don't do any.
That's when that 4th of July is whenever I had a piece of cake.
they're on to you, Shawn.
Yeah, they're trying. They're gonna throw it up now. It's all good.
Let's see what else we got here. Okay, here we go. I'm 2 months, lost 7 kilos. I feel great. No more knee pain still, but have issues with sugar cravings and idea how to restrict. Did we hit this one already? Well, maybe they repeated.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Someone said, do you have a dollar goal for the movie? How much is needed? Is it millions? Is it thousands? So when I did the GoFundMe, you have to put an amount in there. I put 50,000 in there. I know, Shawn, when you were talking to Charles Maddox, he was saying it could be all over the board. You know, you could do one for $100,000. You could do one for a couple $1 million. So it can be everywhere. The thing that I have that I think is a benefit is I'm able to film a lot of it myself. And we have the community and individuals that are going to be doing it. They can film themselves. So I think we'll be able to do it for less than most people will. But it's something that I don't have a specific number. I've got a pretty good ballpark idea, but it's one of those things that's also kind of fluid as we change the structure and we're talking to the documentary filmmaker and things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Let's see if we got any more questions on here. Lots of great comments. Really appreciate all these. Carnivore Kip said, question, was bots? Now I am going to fire up a smoker with you all one day.
Yeah.
We got to do that meetup.
Yeah, man. Hopefully in September, whenever we get together, he can come out here. Man, you ought to come down too. That'd be a great time to come down and meet everybody. That'd be cool.
Right. Do you guys know anyone that got bariatric surgery doing carnivore? Just wondering about things like intermittent fasting or getting too few calories, which is what the bariatric docs want. I don't know anyone. No, I'm sorry. I don't.
There was about 3 or 4 people in the group. There's been 2 or 3 people reach out on the channel that have had bariatric surgery or gastric bypass. And a lot of times they have, issues with absorption rates. Obviously, if you're familiar, they have a hard time uptake and digestion is an issue as well. So, I mean, it's an issue either way you look at it. I actually looked at getting surgery before I started this journey. And one of the biggest things was I just kept saying, and I couldn't afford it, number one, because insurance doesn't cover it. You can't just go out and have, well, not here anyway. You can't just go out and have surgery done. But secondly, like, if you don't fix that addiction, if you don't fix that problem that in relationship you have with food, bariatric surgery is a temporary fix and you'll end up back where you were. So I feel sorry that they're having to go through that, because a lot of them are still having to go back after having the surgery and deal with the issue, deal with the addiction, and it's tough, man. So
yep. Here's a good question. Do you think you could stay being carnivore if you had to kill the cows, pigs, lambs yourself?
100%.
Yeah, likewise. I'm going to be doing a video with my neighbor, the farmer that I keep talking about that does the grass-fed beef. I'm going to do a day in their life. And I want to do a video where I follow the whole process from their cows all the way to when they're getting butchered, all the way through the thing. So, yeah, I think so for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's no different than killing a deer. I mean, kill a deer and skin it and, process it and eat it.
I got to post my Susan Hampton comment. She's wonderful. Always leaving really good comments. Love all of this. Shawn and Kerry listening and reading while you guys talk. We had an awesome community here. Yes, we do for sure.
Absolutely. Appreciate you too. She's not far from me. She's my neighbor, I believe, too. So,
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
yeah, we're gonna get together and hang out one of these days, and everybody meet up.
What's the biggest craving and how do you get past it? Mine is ribeye,
Mm.
and I eat a ribeye.
Right? No kidding. Well, mine is Texas fajitas now, and like you talking about off plan stuff. It's Texas fajitas, and I will have it once a month, and then I go right back to my plan. But
My other one, I've just had a tinge of every now and then, is the popcorn from the movie theater. But
mm,
because when we used to make the popcorn every single day, I would test it. Sometimes you get, if the oil was a little too hot or not, it come out like a little chewy, and then people were like, "Oh, it's stale," but no, it's all fresh. So we used to just
mm,
test every single one. So I found myself a couple times at Carnivore where I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute,"
mm,
but yeah, once I got past those sugar cravings, I don't have that much.
yeah, absolutely.
Someone asks, they're not gonna leave you alone about this birthday cake, Shawn. You should have mentioned it. Did you feel physically bad after? It's a good question though. Did you
Yeah, I
feel
did
physically
a
bad,
hundred percent. I felt horrible. My
like stomach
stomach,
ache? Or
dude, my stomach was it because, like I said, I've had Texas fajitas once, a couple of times, over the last year, but I haven't had anything. Well, I tell you, I've had something sweet 3 times, like three little bites of something sweet over the last year since I started, and I had a like cake this past weekend, and it tore me up for like 2 or 3 days.
Mm.
Matter of fact, going into the Lily Cane, like my mind was spinning, it affected my brain. Yeah, I was like, who was it? Larry, I talked to. I think I was like, man, dude, like it was like doing drugs, like getting high on something.
Wow,
Yeah, it was like that. Like you get the codeine medicine. If you take too much codeine and you feel that high feeling,
right.
that's what it felt like. My brain was just lighting up. It was crazy. So yeah, I felt horrible.
Kerry, can you do an interview with Steak and Butter Gal? That would be awesome. Yeah, we'll have to see. I
Mhm.
know she was offline for a while. I think she just did another video again. I didn't catch it yet to see.
Yeah, she's back. I'm glad Bella's back, man. She's great.
Carnivore Kip, dino ribs and tri-tip are amazing. Yeah, I got to switch it up. I get into the routine. I just do a smoked ribeye reverse seared, and I could just eat that every single day. And then that's what ends up happening for me. Ketogenic Woman talks about sirloin cap. Have you all tried that? I love Ketogenic Woman. Anita, I had her on my channel.
Mhm.
She is the best. I don't, sirloin cap. No, I haven't had that. I had
Mm-mm.
a ribeye. I think it was a ribeye cap steak. Maybe I'm thinking
Yeah,
of something else. I
a
had that
little
before.
center cut.
Yeah, I had
Mhm.
that, but you ever have a sirloin cap?
I haven't, not that I'm aware of. I have, or maybe it's called something different. I don't know. I don't. If
Yep.
it's called, maybe it's called something different. Most of the time, we have ribeyes, New York strips, or fillets. But fillets just don't have a whole lot of fat in them anymore. So,
Yep. Is there any ice cream alternatives that use real cream, no sugar, no artificial sweeteners that you know of, just to take away that need for a dessert? I don't know of any. When I was doing keto, I would eat that keto ice cream, and in retrospect, I was a big mistake for me personally. It always made me feel horrible and have issues. So I'm not sure. Do you know of any, Shawn?
Dr. Kiltz, I believe, has a recipe of on the carnivore ice cream. I don't know what it involves because I haven't eaten it, but you might want to check him out.
Here's
Dr.
another one
Kiltz.
kind of on topic. Has anyone made cottage cheese ice cream? I don't know if that's the one Dr. Kills was talking about. I haven't, but maybe someone in the comment did. Let us know. Okay, maybe we'll take one or two more questions here. Maybe wrap it up around 9. I got a movie's going to be shutting down soon up there. Let's see. We got one here. Does anyone know of someone who has FND, functional neurological disorder? I have found some things that help, but I'm now almost 30 days on carnivore and it's so much better. Oh, wow. That's great.
Mm,
I don't
mm.
know of anyone with that. That's good to know though. You know anyone, Shawn? I've never heard of that.
Functional neurological disorder. I found something. No, I haven't. Honestly, I'm glad it's getting better. That's awesome.
Charger Mopar, the original carnivore of 40 plus
Right.
years. Is there anyone besides me who hates anything sweet? I yeah, that's a good question. I hate anything sweet because I hate it because it was like a drug for me and I know it'll like mess up my life so bad. So I hate it for that reason. But when I wasn't carnivore, I definitely didn't hate anything sweet. I loved everything sweet and I was addicted to it. So
Absolutely.
Let's see. We got any other questions here?
Oh, I'm dropping everything today.
329 people on here. My goodness. Thank you, everyone. This is
It feels awesome.
great. Question for the cat and the lads. Has anyone done 75 hard whilst on carnivore? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's basically like it's a workout deal, like
Oh,
where you spend so much time outside doing workouts, running. I can't remember all the things that's involved with it. That's what they were doing in the carnivore group last year when I started walking. I couldn't even come close to doing the 75 hard thing, but I did start doing the walking. So um who was it that was, oh man, Serena was doing and I forget, I think it's that certain channel name too. I can't remember now, but she was doing 75 hard.
I did P90X when I was on keto.
Hmm.
That was pretty good for a while. Get me in a good routine. Oh, we got a movie theater question. Love it. What oil do you pop the popcorn in? It's coconut oil. Are you, Shawn, are you worried that the carnivore diet might lead to the vampire diet? I haven't worried about that yet.
What's the I don't even know what the vampire diet
I,
is.
I think it's a joke.
Oh, that's funny. No, I'm pretty happy where I am, so I'm definitely not getting off the carnivore diet.
Right. I know I was
Mhm.
joking about that because I'm like, I did keto and everyone was like, that's crazy. You can't do keto. And I did carnivore and that's crazy. Now I'm doing lion. I'm like, can I get any more? I don't think there's anything else. That's it now. I guess just fasting. I could do a 14-day fast next. We'll go from there.
Right.
All right, let's see if we got any more
Oh,
questions. I keep thinking I'm getting to the bottom, and then it pops up with more new ones.
it's
I'm at
oh
8:58. I got to be close. It says 8:58. It's almost 9 now, so I'm 2 minutes away. Let's see
Andy
if we got.
Frisella. I was reading some of the comments. They were talking about blood diet and all that. No, I'm not getting on no blood diet. I'm not,
Oh,
no cannibalism
man.
either. They getting crazy now. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah, I think so.
I gotta
Okay, I'm
get
at
up.
the bottom. I'm at the bottom. I think we answered every question.
They're awesome, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you guys.
yeah, likewise. Thank you so much for doing this, Shawn,
Oh yeah, man. It's always fun to come hang out and talk and cut up and have a good time, man. That's what it's all about,
and
and
catch
chat with
up.
everybody. Yeah, man. It's always awesome.
That first video we did together is just going crazy. So it's like this is kind of fun. Do a little mini little chat and then get into some
Yeah.
Q&A again. But I think that video has almost 200,000 views now. So
What?
it's
That's
you, Shawn. Your story is inspiring so many people. I get the best comments on there all the time. So
that's
really
awesome,
appreciate
bro.
you. You're killing it out there. Really enjoying watching all your videos. So yeah, people from my channel, make sure go subscribe. Intentional Carnivore. Well, you broke 8,000 subscribers recently, right? You're starting to.
Yeah.
It starts to
Mhm.
go like slow, and then it'll just take off for you. You're going to be at 10,000 in no time, and it's just going to keep going.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm thankful for all you guys. I'm thankful for all the subs, all those who liked, all the people supporting the channel. Y'all don't know how much it means to me to get you guys to invest in me and help get the message out. And it's so motivating and encouraging, man. I get it so much from it, and I need to rest a little bit, so I'm gonna take a little bit of time off here pretty soon.
Yeah,
But
take a
uh, but I, but
well-deserved break.
but I absolutely am having a blast and trying to grow and learn and keep pushing forward. And I appreciate you guys so much and love you guys. And we'll see you guys next time, man.
Absolutely. See you guys next time. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.